Greeting and welcome to the Intensive Success Growth. I am your host, Nishant Sharma. Please give warm welcome to our guest, Dr. Pat Boulogne. Dr. Pat is a coach, speaker, author, physician. Welcome, Dr. Pat.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and I'm to spend time with you and your listenership. It will be a lot of fun.
Okay, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Um, Perfect question. Actually, there's two people. Um, One is somebody I met when I was in college, and I was walking across campus. His name is Dr. Terry Tipton, and he is in Michigan. And I was raised and born in Michigan. And so he said to me one day, "What are you going to do when you grow up?" And it was kind of a rhetoric question, made you laugh. And I said, "Well, I don't know." And so I had all the prerequisites for pre-med. And he said, "I have an application for you. You're going to go to chiropractic school." And I said, I don't know. So we went out to do in the fall time in Michigan, you go out and drink cider. You go to an apple orchard to collect apples and pears and things like that. And, and so we were just sitting having a conversation. And I said, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "I'm going to chiropractic school in Atlanta, Georgia. You should come and sign up right now. Here's your application." And I said, "No, that's not for me. I don't want to do that." And he said, "Okay, but if you change your mind, let me know." And around 3 months after that, I had an injury with my shoulder, called him up and said, "How do I get an application?" And I went to a chiropractor in Ann Arbor, Michigan, who I thought, if he can do it, so can I. And I could do it better. So at any rate, I decided to go. I signed up and never looked back. The other person is a mentor of mine that I've known in his family since I was 9 years old. So that's like many, many moons ago, you know, 4.5, 5 decades. And, he always said to me, "All plans are subject to change, and tell me what you want to do and I'll help you get there." And so, I said, "I need to move to chiropractic school." Do you know what he did? He had an import-export business. He put my car packed up on the back of a semi truck, the one with 18 wheels, and he moved me to chiropractic school.
Wow.
So, and he's, has always, I've known him primarily my whole life. And so he has, those two people held a lot of significance for me. So that's where I was at, who I was with. And the mentor passed away a couple of years ago. And my friend who had me, said you should be a chiropractor, and help sick people get well the right way, is still alive and kicking. He's got, he's very vivacious, and and we're all friends still, many years.
Okay. So, what are the top three reasons why do people fail?
Why do people fail? That's very simple. They don't believe in themselves, number one. They don't have the right mindset, and they don't have the right nutrition and wellness initiatives like exercise and getting enough sleep to make good decisions. And so when people fail, then they set themselves up for, it's a habit. Failure is a habit, success is a habit. And so if you set yourself up for failure and you get a positive reward out of it, then your mammalian brain registers that as a positive event, not a negative event. So how do I get attention? Well, every time I fail, if someone pays attention to me, is not really the way to do it. And that there's a way to do, take your failure. What did I learn from it? And what do I need to do next so that never happens again?
Okay. What's your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
I'm still recovering. Well, what I did is I sold my business and I decided I wanted to go virtual, and that was way before the pandemic. It's been a really hard chore to get that because when I sold my business, when I lived on Cape Cod and I moved to Boston, I really didn't tell a lot of people what I did. I didn't talk up what my background is. So now I'm in a position where I want to go back to work because I want to help, people have better lives, to have better mindset and make better decisions so that they can functionally move forward easier. And it's a little bit difficult when, people always think doctors are in brick and mortar. They're in a building, but it's not true anymore. A lot of stuff that we do is by telemedicine, and it's virtually done. So that's how it, and I'm still like looking at ways to climb out of that, to have more exposure, and be able to speak. 'Cause one of the loves I like to do so much, and it comes easy for me, is speaking in front of audiences. So, that's where I think the universe has me, and God has me heading, is to be able to speak in front of larger groups of people,
Okay.
make an impact.
What are the top three success secrets that other can model from you?
Um, don't be scared. That's one thing. I'm not scared. I have to say, I'm probably not scared of very many things. Um, but is to be open, because one of the things is people are so scared to say hello to somebody, and meet them in their eye. And I believe that when you meet somebody in their eye to eye, they have a message for you. So anytime I have a chance encounter with somebody and someone looks at me, I try to stop, have a small conversation, because I always learn something, and number two is, it's just like, never stop learning. There's so many things out there. If something drives your passion to get up in the morning, then do it, and stay with your word. Keep your word. So many people don't keep their word anymore, and do the best you can do at keeping your word. And if you don't, you can always say, how can I make it up to you? I screwed up, kind of thing. And then you can get beyond that. That makes it a more level playing ground, and something is workable to build off of too, for future conversation, and also moving forward in any type of relationship, whether at work, at home, play, or with your spouse.
Okay. So, what motivates you within?
Well, I have a really burning deep desire to see people do well. And I get a lot of satisfaction from when someone tells me, um, someone said to me about a couple of years ago, they said, I was watching 60 Minutes in the United States, an old version of it. And they were talking, because I always have said sugar's bad for you. And they said, you should have been on that air, because you say that all the time. Everything that you said, they said. And they just said, Dr. Pat, you're way ahead of your time. Because or she's actually used the word, you're a trendsetter and you don't know it. So it's just like, I really appreciated that compliment. And I try to be more outspoken, so that, I can lay the groundwork for, those who come before me, behind me, and around me, so that we all move together, and, in a positive way. So we have a much more positive world to live in, and we can be more impactful, more thoughtful.
What's your company motto?
My company motto is do good, have fun, and thrive.
Okay. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client are executives, busy professionals who need to have better mindset. They need to have mastery of that mindset, and they need to have better wellness initiatives so they can think, feel, and move better in their day, so that they're more productive and have something left over for themselves and for their families and loved ones.
How do you find your ideal client?
I find my ideal client sometimes by shaking hands. um, by, being on podcasts, and people who are podcast guests a lot of times reach out to me. I find my client from, offering my book, Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired? It's a book of questions, and that examine each one of your organ systems. So it seems like one big question, but it really isn't. It's a lot of questions about each part of your organ systems and how they work together, because how those pieces of the puzzle have to fit together. So it's a workbook, a guidebook, and an advocating tool. And a lot of times people, after they get that book, need a little extra touch or push or information so they can make better decisions in their life, in their health, and for their, family and their friends. But that's how, usually, and then I do lead generation on LinkedIn and
Oh,
make connections like that, write articles, write books.
amazing. How do you handle rejections?
Well, I always look at it this way. When someone says they don't want to work with me, for instance, I always ask them, why? What would have made you say yes? And so I listen to what would have made them say yes, or I ask them, and if they still say no, then, it tells me more about them than it tells me about me, because I know what my capacity is and I know what I have the ability to do. So when someone says no to me, they're really saying no to them. And I always wonder, it's like, what is it that makes people not want to thrive and not want to be healthy and not want to, feel better and have a solid mindset so they can make it through even the toughest days of their lives? I mean, you have to have those things. And if you don't have the groundwork for them, or you need to recreate some of them because they've gone amiss for whatever reason, that rejection tells more about the person who's doing the rejecting than it is about me.
How do you deliver five-star client experience?
Could you repeat? I'm sorry, that didn't come through very clearly. Could you say that again, please?
How do you deliver five-star client experience?
Well, one of the things that I've noticed when I've been a client of somebody else's, and what would have made it better for me, is being present, showing up, doing what you say you're going to do. Looking at, because people's, objectives sometimes change. So it's like, if that happens and you say, well, all right, so this is now number 2, what's number 1? And what are the best steps to get there? So, organizing, I'm very organized. And, one of the values I bring to the table is I'm very good at puzzle solving, like challenges and issues, and I think outside the box. So sometimes, people look and they're befuddled for, a long time before they say, like, I just don't know what else to do. I'm going to have to ask somebody else. And then that other person, we've all had that experience. Other person looks at it, go, oh, go turn left here. Do you know there's a shortcut if you do it this way? And you're thinking like, God, I never noticed that before. So it's like bringing those pieces to the puzzle. And the other thing is that you can trust me. A lot of, it's just like, I am my word, and if I, everyone makes mistakes. So if I make an error, then I fix it. And we work around that and we get past better. So my 5-star client experience is that, being there, showing up, and doing what I say I'm going to do.
How do you start your day?
I start my day in meditation, and I have 2 forms of meditation that I do. And so, like, I do a 6-step meditation on one day, and the other day I'll just clear my head out, when I need to go into meditation, and I'll spend like 10-15 minutes just to tone out. If I change venues, like, if I go eat, I always meditate after I eat. And for 15 or 20 minutes. But I always start my day out with meditation, and always on a good thought with a good deed.
What are you grateful for today?
Well, I'm grateful that I was able to be here on a minute's notice for changing my clothes and such, because when we first, how it got scheduled, it wasn't scheduled how I knew it was going to be a podcast. So I wasn't exactly prepared. So I'm grateful that you had so much patience and giving me 5 extra minutes to throw myself together. And I'm grateful for, the people that are in my life right now. I have really good friends and I have very good support in my personal life. And I have, pretty good support in my business life right now. And so I would have to say, that what I entrust that gratitude with, is, being able to have the flexibility, to be able to linger in both, in both groups, whether it's personal or business.
Okay. So how young are you?
Gosh, yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that question again,
Mhm.
as you started it out in the beginning. Like I said before, I don't tell my age, but I am between 60 and 70.
Okay. You are not in between 60 or 70. You are 18-year young with 40-year experience.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm going to borrow that.
Oh, my pleasure. So
That's
okay. Who is your living mentor?
who's my living mentor? Well, like right now, I would say my living mentor is a friend of mine and colleague, and we're working on a project together in New York. His name is Adam,
Okay.
and he is 18 plus 18. So
Okay.
he's in his third to fourth decade.
What advice you will give younger yourself?
I would tell myself that to be mindful of your um, always do more due diligence on whatever investment you're going to do, and make sure that you always read the bottom line.
Okay. So how can we support you?
Well, thank you very much for that. And I appreciate your support. I am, would love to be on more podcasts. I would love to be on speaking stages. Um, and I would love to help more people have them, you know, grade up to the level that they really envision themselves to be in, so that to elevate their health, their wellness, their well-being, their mindset, so that they can go out and in turn do good, have fun, and thrive, and they can share that experience with other people. So you can help me do that by putting me in front of the right people.
Okay. What would you like to say about your guest experience on this show?
I think you are so sweet. You have such a great, bright face and such a nice smile, and your energy comes through the camera, with such ease. That, and so I think that my experience here has been, I know that, when I come to your country, we can go ahead and have tea.
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay. What's your final word?
My final word is be good to yourself.
Okay.
We always are, we're our own worst judges, for ourselves. So I say be kinder to yourself, and then in turn, just do one random act of kindness every day for somebody who doesn't know you, that doesn't expect anything back, and just do it. Open a door, smile. Smile goes a long way, right?
So thanks, Dr. Pat, for sharing your wisdom with us on the behalf of our community and team. We really appreciate you. Until the next time, all good wishes to you.
Thank you. The same to you, and I appreciate you.